Hey everybody, Syntax77 here, just out running some errands and came by the post office here. Figured I'd drop in, see if there's some packages. Maybe we can do a little impromptu episode of
Mail, mountains of it. It'll be a red letter day when the postman blows mail call.
Alright, we definitely have some stuff here today. Got a few letters, got some cool packages, and maybe we'll read a couple viewer comments as well. And yes, I do still have stickers. If anybody wants them, they're still free as well. First one here is from a viewer that goes by the name Ratchet. So, hey Ratchet, and he sent me a sticker from Yale Sterling Power Plant, and he enjoys watching the vids along with a few of his friends. We've watched so many of your videos, and I don't know if you've ever done anything on drip lines. I think it's come up, the subject of drip lines, in my videos, but I haven't done a specific one. And a drip line, for those of you wondering, is when you're using a hammock system, you have your hammock suspension, and water can run down that and eventually get into your hammock. So a drip line would just be like a line basically that you tie or lark's head onto your main suspension strap somewhere underneath of the tarp, so that by the time the water gets to it, it follows that path down. I've seen people use like shoelaces or just pieces of the same kind of rope material that you might use for your hammock projects and whatnot. Am steel, lash it, zing it, stuff like that. I know there are some good videos out there on it. I believe Derek from the Ultimate Hang might not be, I don't know if he has a video or if I'm thinking of a blog post, but he's definitely done some videos on it and some testing, and Shug has as well, so check those videos out. Maybe I could do one someday, but to be honest, I don't use a specific drip line really, because I usually just make sure that my hammock suspension is underneath of the tarp. Now by suspension, that's probably the wrong word. I actually mean my hardware for adjusting the suspension. That usually works as a water brake that gets the water to start dripping. So I haven't personally had any problems, although I probably should do it because it might bite me in the butt one of these days when I'm in a really torrential kind of downpour situation. Although I've been in some decent ones. So usually it just comes down and hits my cinch buckles, and then the water goes right down off of that. But if you're in a situation where you think you might have some heavy water coming and you don't want it running down your straps, just maybe look into some of those videos by those other guys, check those out, and just know it's an option just to hang a line to simply redirect the water. So that's a good subject. Thanks, Ratchet. Craig in Columbus, Ohio sent me a sticker, National Parks Conservation Association. Thanks. Always cool when I get a sticker in exchange for a sticker, although you don't have to send one, of course. All you have to do is send an envelope with a stamp on it. And this is from Mark and Gina over in Ohio as well. Been a subscriber since the early firearms videos. Wow, you're going back, buddy. The videos with Mike are always epic, and your wife and dog are classic. Glad you're liking them, Mark. That's good. Sticker on the way for you, buddy. And the last one here, there's no envelope, but there is 3 stamps and a little post-it that says oops. I think this would be a reference to the video I did earlier where someone sent an envelope without a stamp. You paid me back in triplicate, so thanks. You didn't have to do that, but 3 stamps just made a 2-stamp profit right there. What do we got? All right, this here, I did expect this. This is from Olight. I've done some videos on them before. I have a pretty good relationship with them, and every once in a while I do get a lot of offers from all kinds of different companies to review flashlights, but for the most part I hold off because I know you guys don't want to just constantly see flashlight videos. But on top of that, I've been recently holding off until I see something that I think you guys would really be interested in terms of something small and lightweight for backpacking, particularly ultralight backpacking. So when they contacted me and asked if I wanted to try this one out, I actually said yes, because it's pretty tiny and I thought some of you might appreciate that. It is the S1 Mini Baton, 600 lumens. I've had pretty good luck with the quality on Olights, so that's why I usually, when I say yes to a flashlight review offer, it's going to be an Olight. There we go. Yeah, so he is tiny, so I'm not going to go too deep on it now, but I'm probably going to take this on my upcoming backpacking trip, which I have 2 solo trips coming up. 2, yeah. Somebody said, I really wish you did more solo trips, buddy. Well, you posted that at an opportune time because I just happened to be going. Well, here's the deal. I'm supposed to be going to New Hampshire on a winter trip, and I plan on bringing this for that trip and testing it in some cold weather along with some other gear. And I was really looking forward to actually going on that trip tomorrow, like this week, but I had some things come up. I had to be in town for something. So I bumped it out another week because it's going to be a 3-day, 2-night trip, like I said, up in New Hampshire, which for me is like a 9-hour drive. In the meantime, though, I am able to get away for a single night trip real quick that I'm going to do probably tomorrow instead. So I'm going to do that trip a little less severe, not going to be up snowshoeing in New Hampshire, but probably somewhere within a couple hours or less of my house. So it won't be severely mountainous, but I'm just going to go out in the woods, play with some gear, do an old school kind of solo camping and gear video. So that's coming up soon, and I'll be bringing this with me. So this guy is, I'm going to use it probably as an everyday carry, but looks like it'd be good for around camp. Yeah, it's super tiny, and 600 lumens, that's a pretty decent package of power there, I would say. Charging cables and whatnot. So, I don't know, anybody out there have any experience with the S1 mini baton? Any tips for me? Let me know. I'm going to put it through its paces. Do like me a good flashlight. Oh, it's got a moonlight mode. I do like that. Only a half lumen and it'll last 15 days on a charge. I can do low for 30 hours, 15 lumens, high, 330 lumens. That's still pretty bright, and I can get 60 minutes out of that. And then on turbo, 600 lumens. Anyway, water resistant and all that stuff. That will be cool. What do I got next here? So this one here, I didn't know was coming, but I do know from experience now, because in a previous video, I got a package from Hang Time Hook, and that's what this one says. That was a little while back in this video. Yep, you can check that out if you want, but I'm guessing maybe this is a new and improved version of that, because he did say before the one he sent me was a prototype, and it's basically for hanging your cell phone or other devices, even flashlights and stuff, off of the ridge line, which is the line that goes above you in your hammock. So here's the clippy part, and a note. Dear Syntax77, I love what you did with little info regarding my 3D printed widget in your first episode of Mail Call. You have a sharp wit and a kind heart as well. I'm not selling the hold my beer cup holders, it's just for fun. But eventually I would commission koozies and sew buttons on them to attach to the keyhole slot on the side. I also included a couple more toggles for other items like eyeglasses, cases, or whatever. Still no instructions, you'll have to figure it out. Alright, cool, let's look at this. Okay, that's pretty funny. So it looks like it still has the 3D printed prototype. But now he has a beer holding adapter, or, you know, beverage, however you want, that he printed out on his 3D printer. That's pretty funny. I'll have to figure out how to use this. I will put that to use and see how it works. So now I can have a nice icy cold beverage in my hammock. Just don't want to spill it on my down. Got to be careful with that. Well, that was fun. Now this last package here, you'll notice, is open already, and that's because, well, it's from Dutchware gear. See, what happened was I was on my computer the other day and I saw a shipping notification for a package that had been delivered to my house from Dutchware, and I said, uh-oh, am I like ordering in my sleep from Dutchware gear now? Has it gotten that bad? Because I don't remember ordering anything. So I ran outside and I found this package and I opened it up immediately because I didn't know what was going on, and then it hit me. Dutch, you are the man. I did a video where I showed my deep winter hammock camping setup, if you will, and I'll link it here for those of you interested. But in that video, I mentioned that my winter sock that I was using was a 10-foot, because back when I bought it, I thought I liked 10-foot hammocks just fine, and I do, but now I've learned I like 11-foot hammocks. So if I ever bought one in the future, I would get a 11-foot version, as well as the zipper mod, which he does now that he didn't do back then, so that I can get in and out of the sock more easily. Well, he must have seen that video and he sent me the new version with the zipper mod in 11 foot. So thank you, Dutch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out on my trip tomorrow, which is going to be somewhere within a couple hours of home, and I'm going to try out the new winter sock. So if you want to see the winter sock with the zipper in action, it'll be in that video that I'm doing next. And then when I go up to New Hampshire, somebody asked before if I've continued to use the, what's it called? The MummyPod system. And yes, I am going to be taking that up to New Hampshire to kind of challenge myself for a situation where I sleep on the ground as well as in the hammock. So one night on the ground, one night in the hammock. And the reason I'm doing that is because the MummyPod system is set up, it's from Outdoor Vitals. It is set up so that you can, it basically looks just like a regular sleeping bag, but it has a zipper at each end. You can unzip the foot area a little bit and put it through your hammock. Kind of hard to describe, but check out my abandoned Air Force video, even if you don't want to watch the whole thing, although I think it's a pretty fun video. Mike and I went up to an abandoned Air Force and actually camped there a couple days. But in that video, I used it and showed it off. And there's some more tweaking I wanted to do to the system. So I'm doing that. I'm bringing up a different hammock system with it and some modifications and the MummyPod for one night of hammock hanging. And then, like I said, I'm going to probably use a bivy and I'm going to sleep on the ground somewhere. So that'll be cool. But anyway, back to Dutchware. He also sent this, and this is brand new from Dutchware. It's called the Sidecar. And I'll be testing this out on my local, let's say more local trip as well when I take this out. It's specially designed for the Chameleon system, which is a modular hammock system that I've shown on the channel before, and it zips right in, and then you have this kind of hanging on the side of your hammock so that you can slide any gear you want in there, whether it's your boots or just stuff you want available, a bottle of water, whatever you want. And I'm looking forward to trying this guy out. So thanks, Dutch. I'm going to give this a whirl on that upcoming video as well. Looking forward to it. That's going to be fun. And then inside, of course, I can't really show you inside the car, but I showed it in that other video if you're interested in what the sock looks like. It's this, only it has the zipper and it's 11 foot instead of 10. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Dutch. All right, next up, let's read a few comments and then I'll get out of here because I got some chores to do. Oh, I did mention on a video a few times ago that I was going to do a Carol update. If anybody's been watching the channel and you don't know why sometimes people respond referring to Carol in the video comment section, particularly if somebody's acting like, well, Carol, then you'll see me or other people say Carol to them. It's a long story. You got to check that video out if you're really interested. But for those of you who know the Carol saga and you're wondering about the update that I forgot to give you, go back to that original video. It's pinned and favorited. I'm not going to get into all of it right here, but I think the Cliff's Notes basically are, well, it was odd because the whole reason she came up before, right, is because she told everybody to stop watching YouTube and she was going to do the same. But somehow she still saw my video, imagine that, and posted back and let me know that I guess that I'm terrible or something to that effect. I didn't respond. I, just happened to favorite it and maybe pin it so it was at the top of the page. But I mean, hey, if you write it, you should be proud of it. So who cares if it's pinned to the top of the channel? But hey, I mean, if you wrote it, you should be proud of it, willing to stand behind it. So I don't see why you'd care if it's pinned to the top of the video comments. Anyway, I guess she didn't like that. And after she saw that, then she did give some advice to my wife that she should leave me. So yeah, Sarah and I will be separating soon because she just wants to follow Carol's advice. I mean, who wouldn't? She's spread a lot of good wisdom before. So yeah, thanks, Carol. You've ruined my marriage now. But perhaps Sarah and I can work things out. We'll see, what happens. I don't know. But for now, that's the update in the Carol saga. She has basically become our marriage counselor and advised that we get a divorce. Yeah. On brighter news, the latest comments. What would you recommend for a winter sleeping pad? I have a climate static V right now. My butt tends to get cold. Do you also do you recommend a foam pad or blow up? For winter, I don't have a specifically like hardcore winter pad. And speaking of foam or blow up, I use both. And the trip that I'm taking to New Hampshire that I was just talking about, the night that I go to ground with the MummyPod system as a sleeping bag, I'm bringing a Q-Core. It's by Big Agnes, a Q-Core, like really thick, about 3 inches thick, I think. But I've brought it by itself in the winter. It's just not enough insulation, but it does keep you nice and high off the ground. So I'm going to bring that as well as my Z-Lite foam pad, like that eggshell material, and double them up together. That's my plan. We're going to see how it goes. If anybody else has suggestions, please, even for my own knowledge, I'd be interested. A specific kind of really cold weather winter sleeping pad. Is there a specific single one out there you guys use, or are you like me and maybe just double up or possibly even triple up on your sleeping pads? Let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, that's basically where I'm going with that. That's my combo. It seems to be pretty good. This is from Alex. Syntax, I'm 19 and have started doing some day hikes, but have not gained the confidence to do overnights yet due to, number one, I haven't figured out how to really get comfortable with my pack, and number two, although I've been hiking, I still don't feel like I have what it takes to do a high mileage trip. I guess he's talking in terms of like being like physically ready to do it, and any advice would be great. Okay, well, here's the thing. You can get out without doing mileage, so that's my tip right now for number one and number two. As far as getting comfortable with the pack, doing some day hikes where it's not critical is a good idea. But honestly, just go out and find somewhere where you only have to hike like a mile or two at the most in, do one night, and then come out. Just make it all about, or primarily about, you being in the woods and getting comfortable with that. And you're going to be close enough to the trailhead that you could bail if it's no good. Just put a headlamp on and night hike on out of there. Or, you know, tough it out through the night, but just know that in the morning you don't have any more hiking really in front of you other than a short hike out to the car, and you don't have to worry about doing a whole nother day of hiking and then setting up camp. If, you know, let's say something goes wrong and you're just really uncomfortable, or you even get like wet or something like that. So I would do that. Wait till it gets warmer, definitely, because that's a whole nother complication you don't need right now is the winter stuff. I mean, go for it if you want to, but most likely, I know me personally, I wouldn't have started right in with winter camping. So probably wait till it gets warmer, find something close and just do it. And then if it's not going well, you can bail. Anybody else who has a tip for Alex, feel free to post your advice as well. And maybe a couple more here. This is from Seth on my winter ascent kit video, my most recent one video that I posted. Ever heard of military grade Mickey Mouse boots? Might not be good for hiking, but keep me warmer than any of the top end cold weather hiking options that are available. Yeah, I have heard of them, but I haven't thought of them in a couple years probably. Mickey Mouse boots are, I always saw them in the surplus military catalogs I would get and just peruse for fun, but they're not that expensive. You can also buy them just at the Army Navy surplus store by you. Most likely they're going to have a pair. They're cartoonishly big, thick boots. A lot of times they're white, I believe, because, you know, for snow camo and stuff back in the day. And they are apparently super warm, and they're rubber, so they don't breathe at all, but they will not let any moisture in, and they're, like I said, apparently really warm. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I should look into that again just to experiment with the Mickey Mouse boots. Winter camping with a sled. Josh says, seriously, a couple bits of fat wood and it's marketed as waterproof fire sticks. You're surrounded with birch trees and you need paper and dry wood. Syntax, you need some basic fire skill upgrades. Yeah, I've always said on this video I'm terrible with fires. I mean, I can get the job done, but I'm not a bushcrafter. I've also brought up on this video that, oh God, it's come up so many times. Mike and I actually, ironically, in this video, which, by the way, I don't think on that video we were using some fancy fire starter that was marketed as fat wood. I think it literally was fat wood that Mike took a handful of from his house. You know, it's like the really oily wood that you start a fire with at home. He just threw some in his pack. And I think, and I know we've said this on many videos, and ironically, I think it's on that video that we said, hey, look, if you want to go out and prove that you can start a fire with your bare hands, that's awesome, and it's a great skill, but like, you don't have to do that every time. And I think judging people for not doing it when you see their video and they're just trying to go on a backpacking trip and they use a lighter to start their fire and you give them a bunch of crap, I think most of the time it's just knowledge signaling. I mean, and Josh, I'm assuming, hopefully, I think he's not trying to be mean necessarily. I think a lot of times when people do this, they just want to show you that they know something. So, and then other times, I guess, yeah, they're just trying to be mean. But anyway, my point is, where do you draw the line then? I mean, yeah, we also went on that trip. Actually, the weird thing about this, it's pretty ironic and ridiculous. That trip is the one where Mike and I took a sled, okay, a sled, put a Tupperware on it, like a 55 or 35 gallon storage container on it, filled it with like a bunch of kitchen equipment, actual hoagies from like Wawa or somewhere. By the way, Anybody out there that thought that, you were going to learn how to do survival skills today, I mean, unless it includes hauling a bin full of subs and beer into the woods, that's about as far as the survival skills go. There's some great channels out there, but today we're living the luxury.
This is survival skills.
Oh yeah.
Make sure you bring food.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be stupid. Bring food and you'll live. And went into the woods with all this ridiculous crap that we've hauled in on a sled. But you're drawing the line at fire starters? That's pretty funny. Anyway, my point is, where do you draw the line with this macho, you have to do everything like you're in a disaster scenario? Because Mike and I also went out there with a tent. I guess maybe we should have just dug a snow cave. We also wore clothing. I mean, hey, let's be serious right now. If this was a hardcore survival scenario, let's take it further. No clothing other than maybe underwear so we can keep it PG. Mike and I are going to have to huddle up in our snow cave together for body warmth because we have no clothing. Yeah, definitely. Why bring a sleeping bag? I mean, geez. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Now, he said that he really likes birch bark. I actually mentioned to him, go check out the, all joking aside, the Air Force Base video that I already mentioned. We probably used fire starters, God forbid, on that trip, but we also went around and harvested a ton of birch wood, which is, like Josh says, he's right. It's a great natural fire starter. It's got a lot of oil on it. It lights up because it's basically like paper. You can find a dead birch tree or a fallen one and it just peels right off. So anyway, check that video out if you're into birch and you really want to light a fire. But sorry, sometimes I'm just not hardcore enough with the fires. But I do have a good time. At least that's what's important to me. But anyway, I think I'll wrap it up right around now. Remember, if you want free stickers, info's in the video description. Also, if you want a way to support the channel, you can use the Amazon link in the video description or bookmark the Amazon link on my website. And anytime you go shopping, a small portion will go to supporting the next trip. That is much appreciated. Thanks to all of my viewers who do that. Till next time, I'm Syntax77, and you have fun out there.